Hello everyone, Barb here from barbaderhole.closetomyheart.com. Today I am going to show you how to make what I call a peekaboo thank you card. This is what it looks like, and the peekaboo part is that you can see through the front. I think it's a super fun card. I know I've seen videos from the likes of Jennifer McGuire do these kinds of things, but I've never tried it for myself. And we have a nice selection of thin cuts, which is the close to my heart name for dies that make this technique possible. So let's get started. As we get started creating our peekaboo thank you card, I wanted to tell you a couple of things that you will need. You'll need a die cut machine, whether it is one you crank or one that you have that plugs in and it's electronic, whatever. You do need thin cuts, dies, and a machine. I did put mine up here so I could show you how I run these thin cuts through, because there are better ways than others to try to run them through that are easier on your machine. So the peekaboo thank you card base that I made out of white daisy, this is it right here. It is 4 inches wide by 5.5 inches long, and it's scored at 5 1/4. So then all you do is you gently fold that little flap over, and this is the flap that we will use to attach the GeoGrid thin cuts and the multi-square window thin cut to create our peekaboo front. I decided that I wanted to use Bluebird cardstock, so I went through and I hacked off some hunks, and I've got them facing up for the color shade that I want. Our cardstock is two-toned, so the darker color is the true color that matches the stamp ink pad. The other side is a lighter shade. So this particular one I want to be the lighter shade. Now I am going to flip it over so that the thin cut is laying cutting side up. I'm going to put my paper on top of it, and I have it at an angle. You can see that I have it at an angle because the roller in here that puts the pressure on, if it hits this straight on, it's this big clunk speed bump. The pressure is really intense when you have it straight on, but if you put it at an angle, it slowly works its way over, and it's not a big chunk all at once. So my paper's on there. Got my base, a bottom plate, and then this is my top plate. And I'm going to put that on top of there. Make sure that my paper didn't shift, and you start cranking. And I hold on to it. But you can hear a little bit of cracking. That's very normal. You pull that off. A bunch of those little pieces came out. Sweep that into the garbage. If you wanted to do inlays of this one, I think it would be really cool. But I don't know if Barb has the patience to do something like that. And you can use a little poker. There are little holes that you stick a pokey tool into to get the thin cut out of your die. And there you go. Isn't that pretty? It's such a fun shape. So that's the first one of the Geo thin cuts. Then I have the other one. Looks like this. So we're going to do the same thing. I am going to flip it this way, set it on, and run it through. I get it going, hanging on to the plate so that things don't shift around. Once you feel that pressure, then I put my hand on the top and I crank. And this one is done as well. And this one came out right away. Isn't that is so fun. Look at them when they're layered together. Ooh, that is so pretty. I love, love, love it. Okay, let's get this cleared out of the way. And the last thin cut that I'm doing for this part of the card is the multi-square windows. So I've got the dark side. Again, I'm flipping it over. You can run it through in the other direction. I just do it this way. I find this works better. Okay, so I feel the pressure has grabbed and I'm rolling it through. And you can hear, you don't hear that super clunk that you get if you put that die straight on. And here you end up with all these cute little squares. And I am going to save these because I am going to do a video on a card showing you how to use those little squares because they're so cute. And again, pokey tool, get that in there so that you can pull it out. Isn't that pretty? Let me put it all together and I'll show you what this looks like. So you got the 3 layers put together just like that. So that's what we need for the peekaboo front cover. We also need an extra piece for the back that I'll show you. But I'm using the stitched rectangle frames. And when you cut this out, you end up with this outer frame that works beautifully to make shaker cards. But you also end up with an inside part that has some stitch detailing on it. And this is the perfect size to put on the top or on the back side of this card to give it a little stability and a place to write a message. I've got it at an angle. Here's my white daisy cardstock. We'll put this on the top of there and I'm going to run it through. Now when you are doing thin cuts, if you ever feel there is so much pressure that it almost feels like it's going to break, stop and check your machine and make sure that you don't have something too thick going through there. Here's that frame with the stitch detailing. Really pretty. And I'm going to save this because I can use this to make a shaker card or some other kind of card. So I will set that off to the side. So we don't need this anymore. We will need a stitched scallop something. I can't think of the name of it. But it's another one of our thin cuts. Stitched scallop bracket. And I'm doing one in the pretty blue. So we don't need this anymore. Oh, we do need it. We do need it because we need to do a couple that are white. We need 2 that are white. Let's see what we end up with here. So there's one that's white. Let's see if I have a piece here that's big enough. Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, it's close. It's real close. Let's see if we can get it to run through without shifting. I can see, looks like we're good. I'm just holding that in place so that the paper doesn't shift on me. You can take washi tape, post-it tape, a post-it note, anything with a little sticky on it, and use it to help hold things in place. We are done with the stitched scallop bracket. And that's it for our die cutting. So I'm going to pull this off to the side and we will get assembling. Here's the base. Here are all of our pieces. Liquid glue is your friend. You could do a spray adhesive if that's what you have on hand, but I'm going to use liquid glue, whatever liquid glue is your favorite. I think tape runner on something like this ends up leaving some residue that I just don't think it works well for this. If you had stick-it adhesive type that you would attach to the cardstock and then you run it through and cut your shape, then it's just like peeling off the backing. I've seen people use that and that looks like it works well, but I like the liquid glue. Gives me a little wiggle room and I think it goes together fairly quickly. And I'm just hitting the highlights here. Okay. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I think that's so pretty. Now we need to do a little stamping because you want to do your stamping before you attach it. So I have a couple of stamp images from the January 2021 Stamp of the Month called Every Thank You. So lots of different thank you sentiments on there, which is perfect for January because most of us are sending out thank yous for gifts, kindnesses from the holiday season. Ooh, sorry about the wiggles. My husband took a clamp that I use to keep my cabling off of my computer monitor. He needed to use it and it has not made its way back. So I apologize. I'm trying to remember not to be too heavy with my inking. The stamp set also has a little heart in it. So I'm putting a couple of little hearts on here. There we go. And this is just our black ink. Nothing fancy about it. Put a little glue on the back of this. And I am centering it in this middle section here. Okay. Then I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to take the other white one that I have, add my glue, and line it up right there. That just kind of hides the back side of that front one, and I think it neatens up the look. Ooh, let's move it down a little bit. I had that a little high. That's where the liquid glue gives you time to adjust. Now we need to attach this to the front. So I'm just going to run a little bit of glue near the edge. You can take your bone folder and give it a little encouragement, a little pressure so that that glue really grabs a hold. And there you go. Peekaboo. The blue one we're going to do a little magic with. Put our adhesive on the back. And we're going to lay it adhesive side up right on top of the bracket shape there. Close the back onto it. Give it a little pressure. So when you open it, you know exactly where you can write so that it doesn't show through your peekaboo spot. So it's a nice little surprise in there. You can stamp in there, you can write in there, whatever you need to do. Now we're going to flip it over. And this is where we're going to stick this inner part of that stitched rectangle. find that this helps to give a little more stability so that the card will stand up nicely, and it gives you a place to write your message. Write a little note on there, and it won't bleed through to the inside. It's just a little extra something something. You can also stamp a little made by on there, however you want to do it. So here we go. Got the thank you. You can see the peekaboo-ness of it. Look at that. And then we've got the nice back side and the front side. The last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my clear shimmer brush, because you know I love a little shimmer brush, and I'm just going to put a little shimmer on the hearts. That adds a little glitz, kind of understated, doesn't affect how it gets mailed or anything. So there we've got a little shimmer. Oh, there you can see it. So pretty. Such a fun card. I hope you will give this a try. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a blessed and crafty day, and I will see you next time.